So today on Decoy Noise, we're going to go on an AskReddit thread and see what quote has always stuck with you. So if you haven't already, please subscribe down below if you're liking this podcast Reddit live discussion format. But let's just get right into it right now, which Maddie's daddy says, my dad used to say, if you don't have the balls to say it twice, don't say it once. Well, this next guy has a funny story about it, but I also have my funny story. So, Moonjur Demand says, funny story, there was this one Queen concert in Queen's early days. Someone shouted a gay slur at Freddie Mercury. You know what this mad lad did? He directed the stage light of the guy and asked him to repeat it. The guy didn't. And I guess my little takeaway from this was one time a guy was really threatening to fight me, and it's like, I'm not a crazy huge guy, but I was like, okay, like, you want to fight me? Let's go. He's like, all right, step outside. So I was like, okay, we'll go outside. Walked outside. He's like, okay, yeah, come on the sidewalk. And I'm like, we're on the sidewalk right now. He's like, nah, go to the other sidewalk with me. And I'm like, you're such BS right now. You don't really want to fight. You just want to call me out in front of a whole bunch of people thinking that I'd back down. Amelius Brown says, hire good people and get out of their way. That's true. Give people that sense of autonomy and they'll be able to flourish. Kuro Madushi says, place I was at hired good people and fired them within a year. In some cases, people lasted a month or less. Founders syndrome is real. Since this is getting some small traction, I encourage people to try to view things objectively and look for these red flags. These sort of founders tend to be quite charismatic and convincing, but it's the outcomes that should show you the type of person they are. This founder hired their friends and didn't involve HR, hired and fired several direct reports ranging from 2 weeks to a few months. Those who stayed longer loved to fight and were beaten into submission. Sold the company, laid off the staff with no notice to another company and purely focused on making money. Wasted money by hiring external groups to work on something only people in the industry would know, which caused delays and we had to advise them on how to do it, then eventually hired the people to do it themselves. Hired an entire team to work on applications, scrapped it a year later with nothing to show for it. Okay, I feel like this is going to go on and on and on and forever. It's like it has nothing to do with what quote can stick with you. Oceanic Smuggling says, now that I know better, I do better. Okay, I dig that. It's never win-lose, it's win-learn. Nick says, if you're not enough without it, you'll never be good enough with it. Sean Candy and Cool Runnings. Okay, that's actually some gems out there. Like there's a quote in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift movie. I don't know at the top of my head, but it's always stuck with me. A movie that got 1 star on IMDb has something that I live my life by now. I Hunt Wolves is, a clear conscience is a good pillow. My maternal grandmother. Okay, so as long as you have nothing going on in your life that you're doing wrong, you can sleep pretty easily. Unwinning again stable. Huh? How lucky am I to have something that makes me saying goodbye so hard? Oh, Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. When saying goodbye to something that you really, really love, just be appreciative that you knew it, or I don't know what that quote is or whatever. So if you know Decoy Noise is a good thing, please subscribe down below and leave a comment or a thumbs up saying why you like or don't like this thread, if I should slow down my talking, or if I should actually take a breath while I'm doing this podcast, because as you can tell, I currently do not. So on the next one, it is Dobbs Head, and I urge you to please notice when you are happy and exclaim or murmur or think at some point. If it isn't nice, I don't know what it is. What? Okay. I'm Paul, and that's all says, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Yes, exactly. If it's always easy times, you're never going to get better at it. Heartfelt Hyperactive says, reminds me of a ship is safe at dock, but that's not what it's built for. True, you got to take everything and go on adventures and make life hard. Words are hard, says, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. That's cool. Like just when we saw in that other AskReddit thread where the guy was like, I'm 37 years old and always wanted to draw. And in 3 years, he became an amazing illustrator or artist or whatever it was. But it's like, yeah, he may be late in the game, but doesn't mean that he can't do it. I've been thinking too much, says, fault is the easiest thing to find. True, very true. Mau says, if you want to wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting the rest of your life, or something like that. Yeah, best time is now. I like that one quote from, the one that stuck with me from Childish Gambino or Donald Glover or whatever he wants to go by is, he says, if you feel uncomfortable, you're doing it right. That means that you're going beyond your comfort zone and you're experiencing more to life. I like that. Isaac198362 says, after Frodo says, I wish it need not have happened in my time, referring to Sauron gaining power, Gandalf responds, so do I, and so do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. Okay. I guess I'm not intellectual enough to understand some of these finer quotes. Monkey Brogdon 13 says, I'm making rapid progress in the art of using many words to say nothing at all. Otto von Bismarck, Iron Chancellor. Okay, so just simplifying things, I'm guessing? Dr. Crunch says, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but doesn't get you anywhere. Someone who has their stuff together. I think that is... Too many people this day and age have a time to be... What's the word? I wish I had other... No, it's... So many people can be... recreationally offended. There it is. Recreationally offended, where they don't have anything else better to do, but they just find stuff to be mad about. And it's a terrible way to live. El Pago says, every accomplishment starts with a decision to try. JFK. I dig that. Very motivational. I am a mud crab says, what is the most important step a man can take? Not the first, but the next one. Always the next one. Okay, always the step that you haven't taken already. I dig that. Rob Swin says, I also love sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a man in the process of changing. Okay, so maybe if you're hypocritical, it's just you trying to come to terms with what's really going on. Lovely Twinkle Girl says, they promise that dreams come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too. Oh yeah, nightmares come true too. It's kind of scary. Got my identity stolen says, my dad always told me if you don't do it right the first time, someone else is going to have to do it. Mainly implied to me the cleaning around the house as a teenager. Think about it at my jobs a lot now and in my mid-20s. Okay, so if you don't do it right, someone's going to have to do it again, so might as well do it right the first time. I dig that. 16th Snitesgruben says, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one was watching. Jim Stovall. Okay, I dig that. It's like integrity is all about just doing the right thing, even though you're not going to get any, not the word isn't credentials, but you're not going to get pat on the back for it. 000 Tragic Solitude says, your past doesn't define you. It just gives you the starting point of who you're going to be. Okay. Scorcher doesn't really have much of real life application, but I love this one. So there's a long quote here. It says, there are so many stories where some brave hero decides to give their life to save the day, and because of sacrifice, the good guys win. The survivors all cheer, and everyone lives happily ever after. But the hero never gets to see that ending. They'll never know if their sacrifice actually made any difference. They'll never know if the day was really saved. And in the end, they just have to have faith. Ain't that a problem, Church? Churchill? Winston Churchill? Or Church, like when they say, like, that's the truth? I don't know. 2KO says, they may never forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Isn't that Maya Angelou? Maya Angelou? Maybe. I don't know. There you go. 5Jot says, people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's a quote as I learned it. However, I can't seem to remember from where. Oh yeah, Rishardi says it's from Maya Angelou, and sources seem to agree that this quote is misattributed. Okay, so I read that on like Instagram or something and it was wrong, so no fault of my own. Lindsay Chaps 21 says, yes, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. The Lion King original. When they didn't include it in the live action, I was devastated. Huh, yeah, the Caraspular Pertursher says, seriously, as a grown woman, I almost said it out loud in the theater. They skipper the stick scene. What? I don't know any of this stuff. Guess I don't watch enough Disney movies. Cola Doc says, my grandfather used to say, enough as it is, much as a feast. I hated it when I was a kid, but grew to appreciate it. Enough is as much as a feast. Oh, okay, so either you have a feast, you have a buffet of more than you need, or just having enough. It's the same thing, because you just have enough. I dig that. Abstract Art 18 says, the days are long, but the years are short. Not sure who said it, though. Oh, that's true. Yeah, the day is long, but then the year goes by fast. So it's like, today is long, but in retrospective, the whole year was short. Sir Gog says, she was 1 in a million. She was a few more than just a new... What? She was 1 in a million, so there's 5 more in New South Wales from a song. Oh, okay, I get it. So it's just saying that it's like, hey, she's 1 in a million, but then there's like billions of humans, so she's not that rare. Kind of sad. Evil Lincoln says, one coworker told me a while back, what do you call a doctor that graduated at the bottom of his class? A doctor. That's true. Bandito5280 says, you could be the most delicious, juicy peach in the world, but there will always be people who just hate peaches. That's true. You could be the best what it is, but some people just aren't going to like it, and that's okay. Fairy Fate 42 says, it is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That's not weakness, that's life. Captain Picard. I like how a quote attributed to like a fictitious character got platinum, golds, and all these awards. Am I doing this right? Comparison is the thief of joy. And it is true. What was it? That show Louis from Louis C.K. where he's talking to, I think it's his daughter, saying like, hey, the sister got more food in her plate than me, and he says the only time you should look at your neighbor's plate is to see if they have enough food. Otherwise, you're okay. And that's true. It's just like when you start comparing yourself to somebody else, honestly, everybody's guilty of it, but it's like, you know, when you work somewhere and you realize the guy next to you is making more money with the same job, it's like, just a second ago you were okay with how much money you were making until you realize that guy's making more, and now all of a sudden you're upset. Comparison is truly the thief of joy. Let's go through another gold one. Quaid84 says, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Well, if it isn't the consequences for my own actions. I dig that, and that's a good time to place to stop it or whatever. So I mean, it's true, a lot of people don't want to take personal responsibility for their actions. They want to always blame something on everything else. But I mean, we got some good quotes in here, blaze through them super fast in 10 minutes or less. So I mean, if you like this video and want to see more just like it, please subscribe down below, hang out with me for longer, check out that video over there to see what else is going on Reddit, and also comment what you like. Do you want me to bring guests back? Do you want me to slow down? Do you want me to take breaths between sentences? Let me know.